Hello everyone. Uh, Welcome to this session 18 of Theory of Computation or Formal Languages and Automata Theory. So in today's session we are going to discuss about pumping lemma. So we will discuss this pumping lemma theorem and followed by that we will discuss the certain problems related to this pumping lemma. So let us start our discussion with the concept of pumping lemma. So basically, this pumping lemma is a theorem which is used to prove a language is not regular. Okay, so whenever a language is given and you need to prove that a language is not regular, then you have to use the concept of pumping lemma. Okay, so here if you see here, the first point is that it is used to prove a language is not regular. Okay, so basically when we can say that a language is regular, so by the knowledge that we have gained so far, we can say that a language is regular if we can able to construct its corresponding finite automata. Right? So a language is said to be a regular if we can able to construct the finite automata for it. Okay, so what I mean to say is that for every regular language there exists an equivalent finite automata that accepts the same language. Okay, so if we cannot able to construct the finite automata for a given language, then we can say that the language is not regular. Okay, so this is generally one way of checking whether the language is regular or not, right? So but sometimes we may be given with an infinite language. Okay, so and we want to check whether it is regular or not, then in that situation we have to use this concept of pumping lemma. Okay, so in this session we are going to discuss about this pumping lemma in detail. Okay, so let us have a look on the theorem statement. So here, if L is a regular language, then there is a constant n. Okay, so here consider that L is a regular language and here small n is some constant, right? Such that small z is any word in L. So here consider that small z is some string which belongs to the given language capital L. Okay, and mod z is greater than n. So here the string which we have taken from the language is considered as z. The length of that string is greater than n. Okay, so it must be greater than the constant n. Okay, then we may write the string z as z is equal to uvw. That means we may partition the string z into three parts consisting of u, v, w. So u, as we know, it is some prefix part, v substring part, and w suffix part, right? So we may partition the string z into three parts, u, v, w. So how do we partition? In such a way that mod uv less than or equal to n. That means the length of uv portion collectively must be less than or equal to n. That means it must be less than or equal to the constant n. And mod v must be greater than or equal to 1. That means the length of v alone must be greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so when these two conditions are satisfied, then for all I greater than or equal to 0, the string u v power I w will always belongs to L. Okay, so here this is the uh, theorem statement, right? So let me explain this once again. So first thing, we are considering L as a regular language and n is some constant. Okay, so here let me call this n is nothing but the number of states in the minimum DFA that is accepting this regular language. Okay, so here to explain the point clearly, I am considering a minimum DFA here, right? So I am having a minimum DFA which is consisting of some n states, okay, and it is accepting the regular language L. Okay, so that is the meaning. So here we are considering a constant n, means n is nothing but the number of states in the minimum DFA. Okay, such that now here we are taking one string Z that belongs to capital L. That means we are taking one of the strings from the language, and the string that we have taken must have the length greater than n. Okay, so of course the string that we are taking, its length must be greater than the number of states in the DFA. That is, we are considering it as n, or we are considering it as a constant. Okay. Then when this mod z is greater than n, we may write z is equal to UVW. That means we can partition the string z into three parts like UVW in such a way that what happens? The length of string, that is UV part, must be less than or equal to n, and the length of V alone, that means V part, must be greater than or equal to 1. So when these two conditions are satisfied, we may consider the string like z is equal to u v power I w that belongs to L, right? So here that means we can have any number of V's followed by W that belongs to the language L. Okay, so here the string z is equal to UVW is the basic string that we are considering, and it is a part of the regular language. And if we can able to represent that z into three parts by satisfying these two conditions, that means mod uv less than or equal to n and mod v greater than or equal to 1, then we may have the string that consisting of any number of v's, that means u followed by v power I. V power I means any number of v's followed by w. That string must also belongs to L, right? So here we are considering that the language is regular. Okay, so here one more point we are considering is n is no greater than the number of states in the smallest DFA. Okay, so n is no greater than the number of states in the smallest DFA. So let us consider that n is nothing but number of states in the smallest DFA. So as why? Because we are considering that as n is a some constant. Okay. So let us understand this theorem. So to prove this particular theorem here, we are going to use the concept of pigeonhole principle. Okay, so I think you are already aware of this concept of pigeonhole principle. Okay, so here to prove it, let me consider that suppose L is a regular language and there is a DFA which accepts L and has some n states, right? So just now I explained that L is a regular language, that language is accepted by a minimum DFA which is having some state n. Okay, some n state which is having some n states. Now we consider a string. So here we are considering the string as z. Okay, so z string which is having some set of sequence of terminals like a1, a2, a3, so on, am. So here we are considering a string z that belongs to the given regular language capital L. And what is a string consisting of? It consists of sequence of terminals, right? So here z is consisting of sequence of terminals like a1, a2, a3, so on, am. Okay, where m is greater than or equal to n. Okay, m is greater than or equal to n, and each ai is the input symbol. Okay, so the moment when I say that it is a terminal, means it is a input symbol which is taken from the alphabet set sigma. Okay, so each ai is a input symbol. Okay, now so to accept the string like z consisting of the sequence of terminals like A1, A2, A3, so on, A1, AM, then then its DFA will have some set of states starting with q naught. So here I am considering that to accept this particular string z is equal to a1, a2, a3, so on am, I am having a DFA which is starting from state q naught. On state q naught, on processing a1, it goes to the state q2. Okay, sorry, q1. So on processing the input a1 from q naught, the DFA go to the state q1. So q1 on processing a2, it go to the state q2. Okay, and next, so this sequence continues, and finally we reaches the final state qm on processing the input symbol am. Okay, so this is how we may have a DFA which accepts the string Z consisting of the terminal sequence like A1, A2, A3, so on, AM. Right. So here we are applying the pigeonhole principle, and we are considering that the sum of the states in the DFA must be equal. Right. So to process the string which is consisting of the symbols from A1 to AM. Okay, that means how many states here we are having totally? We are having states m plus 1, right? So we are having states m plus 1. But the minimum DFA should have how many state? N state, right? So here we are having around m plus 1 items, and we are going to have only n states in the minimum DFA. Then according to the pigeonhole principle, sum of the state must be equal, definitely, right? So at least two states must be equal to process that m plus 1, okay, by using the n states. Okay, so here m plus 1 value is considered as greater than the n value. So by considering the pigeonhole principle, we can say that at least two states in the DFA must be equal, right? So here we are saying that some state qi and qj will be equal. Okay, for 0 less than or equal to I less than or equal to n less than n. Okay, so here if you consider the pigeonhole principle, then the DFA will be like this. So it starts from q naught. Okay, from q naught we will process the input sequence a1, a2, a3, so on up to ai, right? And here we are considering two states are equal, that is qi is equal to qj, right? So in this state we are going to have the self transition for the remaining portion of the input, that is uh, we reach this state on processing ai, right? So in this state we are going to have the self transition from remaining portion of the input, that is ai plus 1 to aj. Why? Because we consider the two states as equal, right? Qi to qj, right? So since these two states we consider as a equal state or same state, it is going to have the self transition for the input, that is from a of I plus 1 to aj. Okay, and then remaining portion of the input will leads us to the final state. That means on processing the remaining portion of the input, we will reach the final state, that is qm. So what is the remaining input? aj plus 1 to am. Okay, so here how we reach to this point is that we applied the pigeonhole principle here, and we found that at least two states must be equal to get a minimum DFA. And since these two states are equal, this state is going to have the self transition, right? So by considering this pigeonhole principle, we may get the DFA in this fashion. Now we can break the input z is equal to uvw as follows. Okay, so now by considering this DFA, revised DFA, we can partition the string uvw as follows, right? So first part we are going to have from a1 to ai, that is u consisting of the terminal sequence from a1 to ai. Next portion of the input is ai plus 1 to aj, so that is considered as v. ai plus 1, ai plus 2, so on up to aj. And third portion of the input is w, which is from aj plus 1, aj plus 2, so on up to am. Okay. Now, if you observe this pattern, on processing u, we may go from state q naught to qi. Okay. On qi, on processing v must be in the same state, and from qi, on processing w, we go to the state qm, which is the final state, right? So the same point I mentioned here, that is u takes us from q naught to qi, v takes us from qi back to qi, that means self transition, we are having the self transition. And next, the last portion, that is w, will takes us from qi to qm, which leads to the acceptance of the string z. So here we have considered the pigeonhole principle, and we generated that DFA pattern for the string z is equal to a1, a2, so on am. By applying that pigeonhole principle and by considering the corresponding DFA, we partitioned the z into three parts: u, v, w. Okay, so u is the part of the input on processing which we go to the state q1, sorry, qi. And in qi, on processing v, we will be in the same state that as because the self transition. And then on processing w, from the qi, we may go to the final state, that is qm, that leads to the acceptance of the string z. Okay. Now, so here we are considering the string acceptance by considering the different I values here. So first case, we are considering the I value as 0, right? So the moment when we consider the I value as 0, our string will become u v power 0 w. Okay. So u v power 0 w means the string is u w only. So the string uw is still accepted, right? So on processing u, we go from state q naught to q1. Okay. In q1, on processing w, we may able to reach the final state qm. So the string z is equal to uv is accepted. Okay. Now we are considering the I value which is greater than 0. Okay. So that is case 2. So I value is greater than 0. So here, if I value is greater than 0 means we are considering something like u v power I and z. So I value could be anything. So let me consider 2. So what will be our z? Z is equal to u v square z. Okay. So again, on processing u from q naught, we may reach the state qi. On processing v two times, we will be in the same state qi. And on processing, sorry, here we are w, u v w. So on processing w from qi, we may go to the state qm, final state. Okay. So here, as long as we pump any number of v's in qi, we will be in the same state, right? And once we will get the z, sorry, w part, that is from aj plus 1 to am, we are going to get a final state. Okay. So the string z is equal to u v power I w is accepted, and since it is accepted, it will be considered as a part of L only. That means it belongs to L only. So this is how we can prove the statement of pumping lemma. Okay. So it is very simple concept. Okay. So just we are saying that z is equal to uvw is a string. Okay. For which we are having the DFA, minimum DFA. So if we increase the V's here, or we keep on pumping the V's value, same that string can be accepted by that considered minimum DFA, and the language is still regular. Okay. Now, so for this particular pumping lemma, you will get a problem that to prove a given regular language is to prove a language is regular or not. So for this particular concept, you get a problem like we have to prove that given language is not regular. Okay, or we may ask to check whether the given language is regular or not. Okay, so to solve such type of problems, here we have to use the concept of pumping lemma, right? So to prove a language is regular, we have to consider the three conditions. So just try to concentrate on this. So first thing, whenever a language is given and you are asked to prove whether it is regular or not, then first thing is that consider the string from the language. So first thing is that you have to define the language. That means you have to consider the set of strings of that specified language property. Okay, and take the string from language, that is z belongs to L, and then partition that z into the three parts such that z is equal to u v power I w. So just take the string in such a way that it is consisting of three parts u v power I w. Okay, and these three conditions must satisfy for a language to be a regular. So first thing, the mod uv must be less than or equal to n. Okay, and mod v must be greater than or equal to n, and finally if we consider any number of v's, that is z is equal to v power I w, it still belongs to the language L. Okay, so if these three conditions are satisfied, generally we say that the language is regular. Okay, if we will get any of the contradiction in these cases, then we can say that the language is not regular. Okay, so let us solve some problems here. So see here, prove that the language L is equal to set of a power n, b power n for all n greater than or equal to 1 is not regular. So prove that the language L is equal to a power n, b power n such that n is greater than equal to 1 is not regular. So basically, for this type of language, we cannot able to construct the finite automata. Okay, why? Because there is a link between the previous input and the next input, right? So here if you observe the pattern, we are having the strings in this form a power n, b power n, right, where n is greater than or equal to n, sorry, n is greater than or equal to 1. So here what are the possible strings for this particular language? A, b, okay, 2 a's, 2 b's, 3 a's, 3 b's, likewise, okay, 3 a's, 3 b's, 4A's, 4B's. Likewise, you can generate the strings, right? So if you observe here, if you take any string, the number of A's must be equal to the number of B's, right? So we may not able to construct the finite automata for such type of strings to accept such strings. Why? Because there is a relationship between previous input and next input, right? So the number of B's must be equal to the number of A's, right? So in finite automata, what will happen when we process a, we go from one state to the another state, right? On reaching some state, if we get a b, so before processing that b, we must know how many number of a's has occurred, right? So in the finite automata, we don't have a provision of reading the previous input, right? So the moment when we get a first b, we cannot able to track back and identify how many number of a's has occurred, right? So that is the problem with the finite automata, right? So we cannot count the number of a's on seeing the b's. Okay, since the finite automata cannot remember the previous input, so for these types of languages we cannot able to construct the finite automata. And since we cannot construct the finite automata for these languages, they are not regular. Okay, so that is the generalized way of proving that a language is not regular. However, we may also use the pumping lemma to prove that the language is not regular. Okay, so here the language is given L is equal to a power n, b power n such that n is greater than or equal to n is not regular. So in the solution, what you have to do is that first write down the language. Okay, so write down the set of strings L is equal to, so n is greater than or equal to 1 means substitute 1 here, so you'll get a power 1, b power 1, so which is ab, Then substitute n value equal to 2, which is nothing but a square b square. A square b square means a followed by bb. Then substitute 3, n equal to 3, you will get a power 3, b power 3, which is nothing but a3, b3. Okay, so like this. Now consider the larger string. So don't take the smaller string. So take the larger string, right? So let me consider AABB. Okay. So don't take as AB, because if you take a smaller string, then all the condition may be satisfied, right? And you may end up saying that the language is regular. So this should not be the case. So you must take some larger string, right? So here I am taking Z is equal to AABB, right? And I am partitioning this Z is equal to AABB into three parts, that is UVW, right? So while partitioning, it must satisfy the case 1 and case 2, right? So mod UV must be less than or equal to N, right? So here, since I am not having any minimum DFA here, so I am considering N as the length of the string which I have considered. So what is the length of the string which I have considered? It is 4, right? So what is the UV portion I am taking? A, small a is U, and again A is V. Okay. So mod UV must be less than or equal to N. So what is my mod UV? So it is of length 2. Okay. U is of length 1, V is of length 1. So collectively mod UV is 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 4. Yes, the condition is satisfied. Okay. Case 2. What is the case 2? Mod V must be greater than or equal to 1. So mod V must be greater than or equal to 1. So what is the V we have taken? A. So mod V means it is 1 only. So 1 is greater than or equal to 1. Okay. Again, the condition is true. Case 2 is satisfied. Next, case 3. So in case 3, we have to represent the string in this form z is equal to u v power I w, and I value must be greater than or equal to 0. So to prove that it is not regular, so you have to take the I value that must be greater than 1. Okay. So that we can able to prove that it is not regular perfectly, right? If you take smaller I value, means the string is going to be accepted and three cases are going to be satisfied, and you may end up saying that it is regular, right? So that should not happen. So to avoid such type of things, take I value uh, must be at least 2, 3 or 4, right? So here I am taking I value is equal to 2. So now our string pattern will be Z is equal to U V square W. Okay. Now what is your V? It is A. So repeat that 2 times. So what is U? U is nothing but A. So A. V is nothing but A. So here we are having V square, means we are going to have A square. Next W part means BB. Okay. So what will be the string? It will become BB. So triple A followed by BB. So if you observe this string triple A followed by BB, it is not present in the given language, right? So it is not present in the given language. That means we may not have three A's followed by two B's, right? Because the number of A's and number of B's must be equal. But here the string that we have got here is 3s followed by bb, so which is not belongs to L. So the z that we have considered in case 3 is does not belongs to L. So this is the contradiction of the case 3, and hence the language is not regular. Okay, and hence the language is not regular. So this is the easiest way to prove that the language is not a regular one. Okay. So next we will do one more problem here. So prove that L is equal to W power R such that W belongs to set of A comma B star is not regular. So here we know that W is a string and W power R is the reversal of that string. Okay. So every string in the language must have two parts. Okay. First part here is W and second part is reverse of it. Okay. So here let me say I am having the string. Let me consider uh, one word here. So let me consider one word A. Okay. Now what is the reverse of it? What is the reverse of it? It will be the same. So my string in the language must have W followed by W power R, isn't it? W followed by W power R. So what is W? A. What is the reverse of it? A. So this is the first string A. Okay. Now consider W as B. Okay, W as B. What is the reverse of that W? It is B. Now W power R means W followed by W power R means BB. So this is the second string that you are having. Okay. Now, now let me consider W is equal to something like AB. AB. Okay. Now what is W power R for it? It is BA. Reverse of W, BA. Now combine these two. W followed by W power R. What is W followed by W power R? It is AB followed by BA. So this will be the another string. Okay. Next, take BA. BA as a W, then W power R will be AB. So BA, AB. So these are the various strings that belongs to the given L, right? So here if you observe, there is a relationship between previous input and current input or next input, right? So if we are having W power R means we must know what is the actual sequence, right? So let me consider the string ABBA. ABBA. ABBA, right? So here first portion is W, the second portion is WR, right? So in the finite automata, when we reach the first part of W power R, we must know how many, what are the sequence of symbols that belongs to W. Okay. So again, for these types of string pattern, we cannot construct the finite automata, and hence this language is not regular. Okay. So here how we can prove it by using the pumping lemma. So here also once you define the language, then take the some uh, larger string like z is equal to ABBA. I am taking one string ABBA, and in this portion I am considering one part as U, another part as V and W. So here in this case I am considering U as A, V as WBB. So V is consisting of two B's and W is consisting of A. Okay, W is consisting of small a, right? What is n value here? N value I am considering it as 4. Okay. Now case 1. UV mod UV must be less than or equal to 4. So what is mod UV? So A is our U, BB is our V, right? So mod UV will become 3. Okay. So 3 is less than or equal to 4. The case 1 is satisfied. Okay. Next case 2. What is case 2? Mod V must be greater than or equal to 1. Okay. What is V portion? We are having BB. So what is the length of V here? 2. So 2 is greater than or equal to 1. Condition is true. That is case 2 is true. Next case 3. Consider the string in the form z is equal to u v power I w. So as I mentioned that take the I value greater than 1. Okay. So or if you don't get uh, that means a proper sequence and you may not able to prove that it is not regular, then try to increase the I value, right? So if for example if you have consider I value is equal to 2 and you get that the string belongs to L, then go with I value is equal to 3 and check whether the string again belongs to L or not. Likewise, so you keep on increasing the I value. If you can't, if you are not getting that the string does not belongs to L. Okay. So here I am taking the I value as 2. Z is equal to U V square W. Right. So what is V in this case? BB. We have taken the V as BB. Now U is nothing but A. V is nothing but BB. BB square. And W is nothing but A. Now what is your string? A BB whole square means 4 BBs. Sorry, 4 Bs. So 4 Bs followed by A. So if you observe this pattern, you may not get with the given language property. That means this string A4B followed by A does not belongs to the given language. So the Z is not belongs to L, the language is not regular. Okay. So by using these three cases, you can prove that the language is not a regular one. Okay. If all the cases are satisfied means it is a regular. Okay. So that's it. So this is about the unit 2. we started this unit 2 with the concept of regular expression. We discussed what is the regular expression, how to represent the regular expression, what is the necessity of it. Then we discussed what is a regular set. Regular set means the set which is defined by a regular language, or set of strings which is defined by a regular expression. Sorry, a set of strings defined by a regular expression is called as a regular set. Then we discuss the identity rules, so which are having around 14 identity rules, which are used to prove that the regular expressions are equivalent, or they are also used for minimizing the regular expressions, okay, or simplifying the regular expressions. Then we have seen that equivalence of regular expressions, okay, and then manipulations of regular expressions, different operations performed on regular expressions. Then we have seen the equivalence between the finite automata and regular expression. We have seen how to construct the finite automata for given regular expression, and how to construct regular expression from the given finite automata. We used the Arden's theorem, and then we have seen this concept of pumping lemma of regular sets. Okay, so basically it is used to prove that language is not regular. We already discussed in the previous session about the closure properties of regular sets, where we discussed how the regular language or regular set is closed under different operations. Okay, so we have seen that regular language or regular set is closed under various operations like union, intersection, concatenation, difference, closure, homomorphism, etc. Right? And then we have seen what is a grammar, what is formal grammar, how to define the formal grammar, and then how the grammars are classified based on the Chomsky hierarchy. Okay, and then we have seen what is the left linear grammar, right linear grammar, and then we have seen that how to convert the regular grammar into finite automata, and how to construct the finite automata from the regular grammar. So these are all the concepts which we have seen in this unit 2. Okay, I hope you got a clear idea on the regular expressions along with the various concepts related to it. If you still feel any difficulties or having any doubts, please feel free to get in touch with me. Okay, and mail me, or you may also send your doubts through WhatsApp, so that I will try to answer those queries in the next session. Okay, thank you for attending this session.